just do it. I'll play the Super Nintendo Goemon game mini, Mystical Ninja, the Mystical Ninja on Super Nintendo. And if I like that, I'd be interested in Mystical Ninja starring Goemon on N64. But if I'm going to buy any imports at this point, I really want Sparkster. Playing that game at GDQ and speedrunning it with Draco Dan, it's just a fun game to play. It's a cool game to own. It feels fast. It is fast. It's got technique. Thanks, to Weird Dude. Gonberry Goemon 2. Which one's that? There's so many Goemon games. Another Konami series, y'all. All these Konami speedruns. Sparkster actually has two different consoles. It's Super Nintendo and Genesis, but the Super Nintendo version is generally agreed to be the better one. If you want to play one of the Rocket Knight games on Genesis, you play Rocket Knight Adventures. I do not own a Genesis, so. Hello, Lucky Choo Choo Weatherman Zeno Man. I would definitely recommend watching some of the Sparkster or Rocket Knight Adventure runs that were at SGDQ last year. They're really cool. Oh, there's a Japanese Goemon relay. That's sick. How do I have so much ammo? Well, this is the MP5, which is only available on very easy difficulty. So it has infinite ammo. It functions like a FAMAS with infinite ammo and a suppressor. So guards can't hear you shoot. And, yeah, it's pretty slick. So is it in Japan, Minnie? I think salted peanuts. Oh, it's an online relay. Okay, cool, cool. And fish food. Thank you. Nice. Okay. Since we got a nice group in here, just want to throw out the promotions. Not of myself, but of the Metal Gear speedrunning community. You want to learn these Metal Gear games. We got quite the crew. Gaining day by day. Information found on MetalGearSpeedrunners.com, including a wiki resource. We even got someone working on Acid 2 on PSP. So, you too can run a Metal Gear game if you're into that sort of thing. But thank you for watching. KOTOR. Yo, sick. Dude, KOTOR was my shit on original Xbox. I don't know if I'd want to play KOTOR again. I think it might be one of those games Sort of like Jade Empire, though I'd say Jade Empire is probably worse than KOTOR. That may be better left untouched again. Just keep that in the ooey gooey nostalgia part of my brain. But I really enjoyed playing both KOTOR games. I know in the KOTOR speedrun, there's some pretty tricky stuff you can do as stats. If I remember correctly. Like, you can just basically create an ultra character super early just by breaking the stat gain system. Fake level ups, yeah. I remember. I'm just holding down left, by the way, here. If you're wondering what I'm doing. Yeah, charisma checks and that sort of thing. Oh, that sucks. It was almost good.
What are you waiting for? Shoot!
Don't talk to me like a rookie.
I tried, like, getting it all in one clip, but it was, like, one shot low. Right, because you can, like, unlock doors that you really shouldn't be able to unlock super early, right? With the fake level ups. So yeah, I'll actually try to explain the run since we got a sizable audience here. The reason why I'm running on PSTV, in part, besides the load times, is that playing on PSTV pretty much removes all in-game lag, like especially in that section right there, which is pretty big because the in-game timer, which we won't be seeing, but the in-game timer actually does count lag towards its timer, so having less lag does help. Okay, this time I'm actually going to lay all 4 C4 because I don't want to carry that. I really do think it's worth it, ultimately. Oh god, scope. Oh god, card. Oh god, food. That's what I want. This is pure twin snakes, by the way, now that we do this. Okay, there we go. Oops. Thought I had my gun out. So yeah, we can manipulate Ocelot to just loop like this, as long as you position yourself well. He'll just try to shoot you. There is a faster strat that involves throwing grenades at Ocelot. But it's pretty precise and not really necessary for me to PB, so I don't really need to do that. Hello, Fahad Dalazaz. Welcome. Okay, I think I'm just going to quick throw the guy, even though I really should just kill him. Just because I lost a lot of time last time due to that. I'll just take this split safe. That way I don't have quite as many issues. Do the risky stuff on the old PB. That way you can save time by just doing the consistent strategies. There we go. So yeah, that's a vent clip. Look up. Hold triangle. Let go, press X. They'll do that. It's great. The big benefit there is that we skip the Merrill codec, which is pretty long. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so going right like that, you can only do that on normal and easy. You can't really do that on hard and extreme, because you'll get shot by the tank round. I went the wrong way. That's okay. That fight is pretty easy as long as you know your positioning and your timing. It's not that bad. That is not the case on Twin Snakes. That fight is a lot more difficult. It's kind of funny, like, a lot of the Metal Gear games, the tank fight is one of the easiest. Metal Gear 1 on NES and MSX. And MGS 1. Tank fights are quite easy. I think there's a tank fight in Peace Walker as well. I don't know how hard that is in the speedrun though. I have yet to play a Peace Walker. There we go, that was a better elevator button. Just equip that now. So yeah, right here, I count the doors on the right side as my visual cue for when to turn. So 1, 2, 3. And you want to do that in third person because lag is introduced by doing that in first person. Even though first person is arguably easier, it introduces lag, even on PSTV. I think the only place where it wouldn't introduce lag would be on PC, perhaps. Easy peasy. Some would even say very easy. Okay, this fight ended up being kind of sloppy last attempt, so let's see if we can have a cleaner ending where I don't accidentally kick this guy. Might just go for consistent strats yet again to make up the difference. I'll just unequip now. Last time I unequipped after this cutscene, but a little bit easier just to do it then. Ooh, I almost turned the wrong way. Alright, pretty good. I need to look into this fight to see what the damage threshold is for this phase of the fight. This is very easy. So neither normal or hard. Bam. What up, buddy? I'm almost in his face.
I've been waiting for this pain.
How's nostalgic? More. More. So I'll just do this the safe way.
I remember that punch.
So I just don't want to hear that line of dialogue. It's a huge waste of time. So you can skip that quite easily on easy, as long as you get your combos in on the final phase. Alright. Better. But yeah, I currently have the records on all bosses easy, normal, and hard. Well, now VE as well. Took it back. I don't have it on extreme. Every all bosses category has a fair amount of improvement that can be made to it. I haven't seen Jaguar's new PB yet since he got it while I was at SGDQ. But Jaguar King got a new record for all bosses extreme, big boss. So congrats to Jag on that one. We got a 133. Just a guess, I would say that maybe you can get a 131 on extreme. Sub 90 would be insane. That'd have to be a really, really good run with a lot of risky stuff, I'd imagine, to actually, Oh, I didn't pick those up? Or did those respawn? Did those respawn? If those respawn, I should definitely pick those up twice. 132.09. Oh, dang. I thought it was a 33. Well, my bad. Then sub 90 is definitely doable. Yeah, the biggest thing holding Jag back is his mash. It really is. If his mash game was better, it would help him a huge amount. I don't know how much bad mash loses you over the course of a run, but it's a lot more than you'd like to think. Because unless you're playing on the PC port, mash speed does matter in this game.
Don't move.
At high level, specifically. Like, mashing well can really make a big difference. Then
Okay,
mash!
go. I know this place better than you. I'll be point man. Follow me.
Okay, hopefully I don't mess this up quite as much.
That's strange. There's no guard.
What happened to the music?
But I'm gonna save some.
I'll keep a lookout.
I'm gonna save some
Make sure you're
time
ready,
just from
okay?
being able to switch controllers without going into the menu, because that actually matters on VE. Whereas on the other difficulties, it doesn't really matter since the IGT gets paused. Unless you're playing on CD-ROM, then yeah, you need to swap as quickly as you can.
Come on, Mr. Fox.
Mash!
He's waiting.
So I just try to get into a position here where Meryl doesn't go too deep into the room. That way, right here, she doesn't move. It saves a little bit of time. Of course, I should have menued this beforehand. It's a lot better to do that beforehand. I don't like menuing that right then and there. It's kind of annoying. Okay. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this right here essentially tricks the game into thinking you're going into the next phase, and this actually does reduce the amount of shots you need to do against Mantis. It also has the fun effect of making her fall over and skipping the Meryl possession. But it depends on the difficulty, how many shots you need to do before you can do that grenade throw.
Stop! Meryl! No! It cannot be! No!
We can do the same thing here. Oh my god, I did the same thing again. Okay, that was a better fight. Much better fight. And I saved some time on this split as well. So that's good.
I'll take point. Snake, you follow me.
So that's the only reason why we pick up the box, is for that little bit right there. Use the vent glitch to get up on the rock.
Snake, what's wrong? I thought you were good with dogs.
Use the vent glitch to get up on the rock, and then there's like a little part of the wall that you can slip through with the box.
This place is mine. I'll take point again.
And it's faster to
Stay back,
do it,
okay?
the caves that way,
And since we can't
versus
use the
doing
mine
it as
detector,
intended.
Leave it to me.
It also completely removes having to deal with the dogs, which is a nice thing. The only time you have to deal with the dogs is when you're coming back from this room the first time. Which we have a very easy solution with that with the MP5.
So, what do you think? Pretty good, huh?
How did you know where the mines were?
The
It sounds
MP5
weird,
barrels
but
shaped like an
Mantis drove
infinity
into my
symbol.
mine,
I've never
and I was
noticed.
able to see where the mines were placed.
Wouldn't put it past
Are you
them.
impressed?
I haven't looked closely enough.
A little bit.
Only a little?
Unpressed.
Meryl!
So this is arguably one of the harder parts of the run, is picking up the PSG-1. We'll try to make it look easy if we can. Yo, I completely stealthed that dog. He's not gonna see it. Okay. Yeah, not everyone knows that you can just, like, run up there. It's great. Makes life easy. Yep. Can't do that on the remake. They fixed that. Oops. On chaff. So yeah, this canyon is a bit tricky because the optimal line, or, well, the optimal line's in the task and it's ridiculous, but the optimal RTA line is pretty tight to achieve. So I need to be in just the right spot. I was almost too far to the right, but that works. All right, time for alert strats. Oh, this game's far from perfect. Once you start looking under the surface. It's put together as well as any other Nundies game of the era. Held together with twine and toilet paper. Nice. It's funny, like, the later versions of the game did fix certain glitches, but none of the ones that are relevant to the run, which is just kind of weird. Like, they fixed some stuff, but they never, like, fixed certain things, and I'm guessing it's because, like, they'd have to completely change the game. Perhaps that's why. Nice. That thing is a little bit tricky, like avoiding getting hit by that turret, because the turret's position is RNG. But the radar does help with setting that up. Okay, good. That strat's a bit tricky, especially on easy in its own way due to the reduced hearing range of guards. You have to make sure you throw it in the correct pocket or else they won't even hear it. Whereas on the other difficulties, you gotta be careful about their vision, but they'll be able to hear it regardless of how deep you throw it. Why not grab that before you engage Sniper Wolf? Grab what? Sorry. Is there a no-hits category? You can do this game damageless. It's possible. I'm sure Carsey will try to do it again. Because it is possible. The tricky... Oh my god. The tricky thing is really the escape. The escape in particular. Wow. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Now we're dealing with Sniper Wolf. Just as intended. Oh boy. Really now? Oh. No, he hasn't, but he tried at one point. But it's doable. Not bad. The closest thing you'll... Oh my god, dude. The closest thing you'll see to a damageless run that has been done is cigarette percent, where you have the cigarette equipped at all times and you don't use rations, but you can still get hit during that. I forgot I had the box on previous. You really don't want to run around with the box equipped, by the way. You're really slow. It's like the slowest. Well, I think crawling is slower, but the box is like second.
You win. Had enough. So, you're human after all. The torture will stop.
Alright, I bled some time due to Wolf, but that was still fairly good.
I'll have my fun with her before I kill her.
Meryl.
I hope you can still look at yourself in the mirror, my friend.
Do I have a PB for this? Yeah, it's what you see at the end. 120.03. If I didn't have a PB, I would have no splits. Who's ready for the Darpa Chief treadmill? Okay, let me actually get my controller ready for this. I'm gonna do some mashing. Hopefully the controller's not gonna slide. So I'm gonna have my mouth away from the mic. Was kind of dropping it at the end there. You know, the funny thing is, Porgus, with the turbo thing, like, the game will recognize certain turbo rates, but not all turbo rates, so when I played this game originally, I actually did use a turbo fire controller, but the game didn't recognize it. It has to be like going at a certain rate, I think, for it to actually understand, like, oh, this is turbo.
Hey, I'm here. Where?
The fact that you have to mash through codecs on the console version is one of the weaker things about this run.
He's coming back. See you later.
Wait.
Headless Snake. This makes it look a lot worse. Looks like I decapitated myself on the door somehow. I would be like, what the hell? Like, how did that happen? All right. So that little turn right there is just to save frames. If you can, like, turn into the direction that Snake has to go, and, like, you can go into that box on the left side, you'll save some frames, save a little bit of time. It's very subtle. There's a lot of little subtle details that aren't super noticeable unless I mention them. Or if you've run this game a lot, you know what to look for. That being one of them. Alright, let's see what we get for this turret. Okay, I'm gonna go, like, right here. Nice. Okay. The radar really helps with that. Okay. Let's hopefully not mess up the strat. Messing up this strat is really costly. Very nice. Got it both times. It's a strat I came up with based off the TAS strat. It's kind of a combination of the TAS and RTA. In the TAS, if you move pretty much perfectly, you have like a couple frames or like half a second leeway or something stupid like that. Very small amount of leeway. You can actually throw that guard before he turns to look at you, but it's just not RTA viable. It's way too precise because a lot of things can go wrong on your line going to that guard. So instead, throw a chaff to distract him. Then you can run very directly to the elevator. Hey, got it that time. Okay. I really want to like get a exercise routine going. Especially for my arms, because like with this game in particular, having good arm strength is so useful. And like having that endurance so you can mash consistently make my life a lot easier. It's not quite that amount. It depends on the category, I think. On the whole, there's not like too much more mashing on all bosses, but there's some pretty annoying codecs. Specifically the torture sequence, that codec is the longest in the game that you have to deal with. And if you don't do vent skip for Meryl, have fun with that codec, because that's a pretty long codec as well. I don't know what the percentage is. I don't think it's quite that much. Thankfully, any percent cuts down on the codecs by I don't know, 40%, 30%, something like that. A fair amount, actually. Or more like 40. Thankfully, a lot of the all bosses codecs aren't that long. Most of them are pretty short. Aside from the torture sequence, most of them are pretty short. That gold is probably false because my timing point for that has changed. Thank you, Celso Blackfire and Porgus for the follows. It's really important here you hold down and X. That way you can jump immediately. It's very useful. That method of jumping down is what you want to do on pretty much everything except Extreme on console. Being pretty careful. I don't even really need that. What are my thoughts on Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance? No comment. I have yet to play that. That's on the list. I have yet to play Peace Walker, Acid 2, and I'm in the middle of Acid 1. Then aside from, like, the really obscure stuff, I've played it all. The really obscure stuff being, like, MS-DOS, Commodore 64, Apache slot, because I don't live in Japan and I'm not a weeb. The mobile game on N-Gage, or like Nokia phones. I do want to play that game, but there's no real emulation solution that I'm aware of. But Rising's on the list. I'm looking forward to playing Rising. I think I'm going to dig it on the whole. Ghost Babble's a really tough bar to pass, though, as far as spin-off games. Ghost Babble's kind of hard to beat. I didn't get lucky. I'm just gonna take the hit. That's what rations are for. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I missed a chaff pack somewhere along the way. I think it was in the lab. Climb the ladder, my guy. You have to, like, with spin-off games, you have to suspend your desire for more Metal Gear, because unless it's Ghost Babble, then you can just bathe in 2D greatness. I shouldn't have moved like that. I can't believe that didn't hit the girder. That was so close. I like games like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna enjoy Rising for what it is. Nice, got it again. Then need to pick up another pack. Even though I'm pretty sure I whiffed a shot. Who is my favorite Metal Gear boss in the entire franchise? Probably the end. That fight is like the way that they structured that whole encounter with the alternate ways to defeat him and just the fight itself is really cool. Like, Ghost Babel is really cool. I am the Ghost Babel, like, evangelist. So that's just, that punch buffer right there is just so I don't get shot from the last turret. Evangelist, yep. Yeah, the ghost camera will see you on the third, but it won't hit you. But on the fourth, yes, it will. That's the wrong one. I definitely got emotional, Porgus. I don't remember if I cried. I'm doing pretty good, Rogan. Nice to see you. Had a nice trip home. On a pretty good pace. Okay, I really want to not mess up this room, because I screwed it up earlier. I'm going to have a big bowl of popcorn for MGS4.
Now die.
That was really bad mashing, but oddly enough, that went better than last time. I was just, the way I was like putting my hand on the controller and the thumb is just wrong. Nice, I got lucky. Turret was facing the wall, which is what you want to see. Yes, that is true, Deep Six. The game that made me cry as a kid was Kingdom Hearts, oddly enough. The ending to Kingdom Hearts 1 made me emotional. Ha 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 ha. All right, she's ready to go. See, this is why, like, dropping the C4 early and the chaff is, like, so good. Because, like, look at how fast these menus are. I really think it makes a big difference. That was a good fight. Thank you for the 15 bits. That was a nice shot. All right, blast furnace. I'm gonna take it easy. Keep it cheesy. All right, I'm gonna save my grenade. I'm not gonna chuck it at this guy rather than having to menu like that at the end of the fight. Not terribly worth it when you only have a handful of grenades. All right. Let's see if we can avoid getting shot. All right. Good enough. There's a lot of different ways to do cargo. I'd say the easiest thing to do is just PPK them all off. The only issue is that HP can become kind of an issue with Raven depending on what strategies you use. And like on extreme, like taking all that damage is not great. Like on extreme, you can afford like a hit or two maybe, but it kind of depends on how the game went. Yeah, I didn't watch any. The only Avengers movie I watched was Avengers 1. I saw like the first 30 minutes and I fell asleep, and I woke up to the post-credit scene when they're all in the diner, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? Whoa, where are all these people come from? From Big Boy Bakba Soup stream. We got the chicken raid. My heart will go on. The Canadian sweetheart. I know, Mata. It's sick. Hey, I kind of need rations, by the way, or else I'll die. Don't make that mistake. It's a very easy mistake to make, like forgetting to equip rations at various points in this game. Is this faster than using the Nikita exploit? That's a big it depends. So, like, oddly enough, from my preliminary testing, it's actually a little bit faster to use the Nikita on easy compared to grenades if you're on CD-ROM with all that lag. Because you get a lot more lag when you're right up in his face. Which is pretty odd. On PS TV, lag is not really a concern, so yeah. On all bosses, I mean, the thing is, like, it's a weird question because, like, the reality is, when I pick up the Nikita, way back when in Disc 1. I actually could just avoid picking up extra Nikita entirely. Just like pick up the Nikita so I can fire for the one time, maybe two I'll use it, and then avoid picking those up. The big thing about like using grenades for Raven isn't really all bosses, it's any percent. With any percent easy and normal, it's definitely faster to skip picking up the Nikita. The only reason why I pick up the Nikita on all bosses is because I need to take out the electrical panel before Ninja and the lab. That's why I pick up the Nikita to begin with. But the Nikita has some perks of its own, specifically for the blast furnace on any percent. Since you can't use the Stinger, you can use the Nikita to blow up the crane. So it's a kind of a complicated question. However, on hard and extreme, you can't tank Raven like that, so it's more worthwhile to use the Nikita. In addition, there's a real concern about HP in general. So, like on normal, for instance, like tanking all that damage requires you to have the HP to spare and the rations to spare. And it's not really worth it, like, going out of your way to pick up rations. You know what I'm saying? It's like on any percent, you save around 10, 12 seconds by avoiding picking up the Nikita. Which, in the grand scheme of things, is not a lot. So there's a lot of, like, asterisks and conditions there. So it may not be the fastest option for all people. In the most purest of sense, though, it is the fastest thing to do. And on like a TAS on extreme, it would also skip picking up the Nikita and do some crazy dodges of shots. Yeah, well, depends on the rat. Don't curse me yet. All right, we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Except this is not Saddam Hussein. It's just a rodent. Okay, not too bad. World record even. That's right. It's a pretty good pace. I watched Ant-Man 1. That was fairly fun. I also watched both Deadpool movies. Thanks, Deep Six. I will try. Try my darndest. Get that sub 20. Mega with the 8-viewer host. Thank you, sir. You had a good stream. Disney is gobbling up a lot of stuff. Welcome to modern capitalism. More and more companies gobbling up more and more properties and companies. Consolidation of power. Yo-yo Shoshi. Soshi. She sells sushi by the seashore. They bought Fox. Well, part of Fox, not the entirety of Fox, from my understanding. They didn't buy all of it, to my understanding. Thank you, Mega. Thankfully, we had a fairly good rat. So that's nice. Yeah, it was pretty much about the same rat I got on my last run, so that's nice. What did EA call their loot boxes? Surprise mechanics. This isn't gambling. These are surprise mechanics. You don't know what you're gonna get. That's a surprise mechanic. Alright, that's good enough. I mean, I guess they're right. You don't know what you're gonna get. I don't know how much I'd call that a mechanic of the game itself. Oh, Star Wars was a big purchase. You guys see why, like, I'm not even that old, but, like, you see why, like, people just have a general distaste for modern gaming? It's not like there aren't good games coming out, but, like, holy crap, like, when your whole business model relies on people dumping cash into something that doesn't really change the game at its heart. I mean, and like that's your business model. It's kind of weird. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. Not to say like business practices in the game industry have always been sunshine and lollipops, but it is a bit of an annoyance. Unexpected feature. There you go. Like, I don't think it's like, you know, the people who work in that company, like, have bad intentions. I'm sure some of them do. But that's, like, every company. So, you know, this is not, like, some sort of mystical thing. But it's the bad intentions that the market calls for. Because it's the market. And, like, games are just stupid expensive. They're just stupid expensive to make. Especially, like, trying to push it further and further and further. You know, you really gotta wonder, like, is there gonna be another crash at some point? Probably not. But there could be some sort of shrink. But who knows, man? I don't know. Even though retro games have their issues, for instance, the fact that there was a huge subset of games in the 90s in North America that were designed around the idea that people were renting games, and thus they made them artificially hard. And of course, you know, arcades, they're just quarter munchers. The nice thing is nowadays you can, you know, tweak certain, you know, if you're playing an arcade game, you could tweak dip switches or play ports of these arcade games that don't have the goofy difficulty curve. And, you know, there's always stuff like cheats and hacks and stuff like that to make games a little bit not quite as ridiculous. But between games as a service and, like, loot boxes and all that monetization stuff, I mean, just full disclosure, I mean, I've played a game that's free to play for years now, Dota 2, which was always free to play. It wasn't like Team Fortress 2 and CSGO where they moved it to free to play. Dota was always free to play. And I did spend money on, like, crates and stuff, full disclosure. So it's not like I haven't fallen prey to that stuff either. I try to hold my, I try not to do that stuff anymore. Pay real money to get the key cards. Yeah, that'd be ridiculous. The tariff situation really does affect the game industry, though. I mean, you think this controller is made in America? Come on. Yeah, I think that was a really bad move on Valve's part. They, like, the business decisions of Valve have been, I would say, pretty poor. They should have just made it a free new feature in Dota 2 rather than making it like some Battle Pass thing. That doesn't make me want to buy a Battle Pass, and I've bought Battle Passes before, you know. Valve is kind of struggling on the dev front of things. I find it hilarious how many people like go over themselves to like hate on the Epic Store in support of Valve, but like, come on, their business practices haven't been that stellar. Damn, Duel Links, the one grando. But between Dota 2 and TF2 and CSGO, I'd say it's been well over $500, if not more. I can't say it'd be any more than 1,000. Over, since I got my computer in 2011, so. A lot of that was when I was like 18, 19. And just pissing my money away on stupid shit. Now I piss my money away on other stupid shit that isn't loot crates. I think the whole Shenmue 3 thing is really because they said it's coming out on Steam. But in typical Shenmue fashion, I'm sure it became really expensive and they needed more money, and Epic gave them a deal. Even though it was going to piss people off. I can understand why some people would be really bothered by that, and I think it'd be fair for them to ask for a refund. But it's still coming out on PC. I didn't back Shenmue 3, so it's not really my horse to talk about, but everyone who cares about the corporate horse race is kind of like, take a step back. Like, either one's going to screw you over in some way. Yeah. Real card games. I feel like at the end of the day, for people who have been waiting for Shenmue 3 for so long, whether it's a good game or not, at least it's coming out. How good it's going to be, I don't know, but at least it's coming out. But for people who like that genre of games, is it actually going to be better than Yakuza? I don't know. It's got to... What really Shenmue 3 has to do is really emphasize the story and, like, continue that the story of Shenmue 1 and 2 in an interesting way. Or else it's just going to be, like, you know, long-awaited, long-expected, under-delivered crowdfunding at its finest. Portal 3. No number 3s. We're going to go straight to number 4. Dang, Copper. He's got a 9-month streak. My boy's got a 9-month streak. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the welcome home. 14 months total. Aim the gun at the door. It's really smart. Thank you, Silverpad. You ain't getting no child support. Finally fixed your PC. You can do speedruns again. Hell yeah, Silverpad. Does that mean you're coming back to MGS 1? The return. Yep, we're back full circle, everyone.
Now, in front of you,
The homecoming.
I can
The homecoming.
After Zanzibar, I was taken from the battle, neither truly alive nor truly dead. An undying shadow in a world of light. But soon it will finally end.
It's a good fight. Goldilocks over here. This is one codec that you really want to mash fast for because there's not a lot of facial expression changes, so it's just script pretty much. That's a codec where your mash speed like actually really matters.
If you win, you might still be able to save her.
What do I think of Metal Gear Survive?
Could enjoy a brief moment of love before the end.
I liked it for what it was, but it could have been a lot more.
This line,
I'd say it's a disappointment
at this height,
because there's a lot of design choices that were kind of bad, and really it's another game that really could have used more money, but it was constrained by its budget and some weird choices. It's that hot stuff. The zero throw.
Surveillance camera.
Wow, you would say you like Survive more than 5? I can't say that.
I got him. Let's go.
I can't say that. I think 5 is definitely the better game, but I don't think
I got it.
Survive is going to eat my firstborn.
Snake, hold on.
That there's just so many things like I have issue with, like just design wise, but there's some fun to be had there, and it's, you know, for what it is. But again, you need to be interested in what it has to offer. If you're not interested in like the Survive game kind of thing, like, or you don't like the Fox Engine games, like, you're not gonna like Survive.
Job, Snake. Let's go.
You're not gonna like Survive. Thank you. Glad you like it. Yo, this game loves its fist fights.
Damn, can't get through. Snake, you gotta clear a path.
Okay, that works.
You did it, Snake.
The game is the game, you know? The game is the game that came out.
Not yet, Snake.
For what it is,
It's not
I
over
enjoy
yet.
it.
Liquid.
Didn't get him. Unless I got my transition shots. All right, good. This is a pretty good run. $118.43. Very nice, very nice.